the world of true crime, each tale unfolds with its own unique, bone-chilling mystery. And this case is as equally terrifying as it is heartbreaking. In this true crime documentary, we bring you the riveting story of Madeline Kingsbury. Although we warn you that it might just leave you trembling by the end of it. It's a recent case that has captured the imaginations of countless truth seekers. And now, we invite you to learn all about it. Let's get started without any more delay. Madeline, lovingly known as Maddie, was a woman who was once known for her radiant and compassionate spirit and lived in a small town called Winona, Minnesota. She was a respected clinical research coordinator at the Mayo Clinic who appeared to be on the path to success and fulfillment. Not to mention, Madeline was also a loving mother of 2 children, a 5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. Outwardly, it looked like she had it all together. But behind closed doors, she was going through something so dark that only her closest friends knew anything about it. The terror which was straining her life was none other than her relationship with her toxic ex-boyfriend, Adam Fravel. Allegations of abuse were constant in their history, secrets that Madeline entrusted to her closest confidants. Fravel's possessive and controlling tendencies had escalated after the birth of their second child, transforming their bond into a nightmare. Apparently, Kingsbury had to allegedly push Fravel to go to therapy after a choking incident. Friends revealed the chilling truth that Adam had violently mistreated Madeline for years, raising red flags about her safety. The breakup between Madeline and Fravel only served to fuel his obsession. Desperate to regain control, Fravel devised a plan to move their family to Mabel, closer to his own, but Madeline resisted. Instead, she chose to explore a new relationship, a decision that triggered Fravel's jealousy to alarming heights. He forbade Madeline from speaking to her new partner in his presence, tightening his grip on her life. It was revealed that her new boyfriend claimed that she would even have to turn the tracker off on her phone anytime she came to see him, because Fravel would text her non-stop. Even worse, Fravel's infatuation with the infamous Gabby Petito case came to light. Gabby's tragic murder at the hands of her boyfriend struck a nerve with him. He texted Madeline in December and told her she could end up just like Gabby Petito if she didn't learn to mind. You may be able to see where this was going, but the reality of this case was more horrifying than you could possibly imagine. Madeline disappeared without a trace on March 31st, 2023. It left everyone shaken and desperate for answers. On that fateful day, Maddie had dropped off her kids with their dad, Adam Fravel, and then headed back home on Cary Drive in Winona. Her sister received the last text from her, just laughing at some pictures. And that was the last anyone heard from her. Fravel told the cops that he left the house in a dark van around 10 a.m. Later, the authorities spotted a van that looked like Maddie's on County Road 12 and Highway 43 in Winona County. Authorities witnessed the car out and about before finally parking at her home, but they couldn't say who was driving it. The alarms went off when Maddie didn't show up for work at the Mayo Clinic that morning and neglected to pick up her kids from daycare. Her family tried to reach her, but she was nowhere to be found, which wasn't like her at all. When the police searched her home, they found her phone, wallet, and jacket. They checked the van too, but there was no word of any significant findings. Everything was there, except for her. A day later, on April 1st, her family reported her missing. The police launched an investigation, seeking help from the public. 10 days passed, and still no sign of Maddie. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension issued an alert for her, calling her an endangered missing person. As time went on, the police began describing her disappearance as involuntary and suspicious. They kept searching, and volunteers from the community pitched in. On April 7th, nearly 2,600 people joined a 2-day search across southeastern Minnesota, but it yielded no results. In April, Fravel filed for custody of their children, but was denied, with the court ordering them to remain in their maternal grandparents' care. The searches continued, and efforts expanded to neighboring counties and across state lines. Search teams even scoured the Mississippi River and the nearby Root River in search of any clues that might lead them to Maddie. But nearly 2 months went by without any definitive answers, leaving everyone in the dark about Maddie's fate. As the days turned into weeks, the scrutiny surrounding the case intensified. Fravel initially cooperated with law enforcement, providing statements and sitting through multiple interviews. As cooperative as a prime suspect could be. However, as police delved deeper into the investigation, they started noticing inconsistencies and noted suspicious behavior from Fravel. One significant factor that raised their suspicion was Fravel's demeanor during the investigation. According to prosecutors, Fravel mocked police officers and made flippant remarks towards them, which only heightened their concerns about his involvement. Only a psychopath or a murderer could behave with such insensitivity when the mother of his children was missing. Such conduct created a negative impression, leading investigators to question Fravel's sincerity in cooperating with their efforts. Further, as the case unfolded, police obtained search warrants that exposed alarming details. Investigators learned that Fravel had allegedly wiped his phone of location tracking and dismantled surveillance cameras a day before Madeline went missing. This was most definitely a deliberate attempt to evade authorities, and it strengthened the suspicions about his possible involvement. The warrants also revealed distressing information from Madeline's friends, adding a significant piece to the puzzle. Just 30 days before her disappearance, she visited the Mayo Clinic, where she confided in a friend about the abuse she had suffered at the hands of Fravel. Madeline's friend recalled her saying that everything is bad with Adam at the house, and that he had been beating the hell out of her for years. Madeline's friend recounted that she received a chilling warning from her. She said, "If anything happens to me, know that Adam did it. I would never leave my kids." This alarming revelation pointed directly at Fravel as the potential perpetrator. Moreover, text messages retrieved from Madeline's phone unveiled even more unsettling details. It was these messages that revealed Fravel's unsavory petito threat directed at Madeline. When questioned by police, Fravel claimed he was merely fascinated with the petito case and intended his comment as a joke. However, the nature of the message, combined with his previous abuse toward Madeline, cast even more doubts on his credibility. The investigation revealed that Madeline and Fravel were in the process of separating, and Madeline had recently met someone else. This development suggested a possible motive for the crime, as Fravel might have been driven by jealousy or a desire to regain control over Madeline. As the evidence continued to mount, authorities connected the dots and established a motive. On June 7th, a tragic discovery sent shockwaves through the town of Mabel, Minnesota. The lifeless body of Madeline was found in a secluded wooded area off of Highway 43, north of town. Her disappearance had haunted the community for almost 69 days, and the Fillmore County deputy's grim finding brought a sense of closure, mixed with horror. The area had been previously searched, but her body was concealed and well hidden, making the task of finding her daunting. The medical examiner's report pointed to a sinister truth. Madeline's death resulted from homicidal violence, but the specific details were withheld, leaving the imagination to run wild with the possibilities. As the investigation unfolded further, all signs pointed to Madeline's ex-boyfriend, Adam Fravel, as the primary suspect. On June 9th, 2 days after the discovery of Madeline's body, Fravel was arrested on probable cause in connection with her disappearance. As investigators combed through electronic evidence, Fravel's actions raised further suspicion. The location where Kingsbury's remains were found was close to property owned by the Fravel family. Authorities noted efforts to conceal the body, adding to the mounting evidence against Fravel. But the twist was that the location had already been searched. On April 10th, a neighbor had informed investigators about the footage captured on his trail cameras. The footage showed Fravel riding a Polaris Ranger near his parents' property in Mabel. What caught the investigators' attention was a long-handled tool visible in the bed of the Ranger, a detail that would lead to a sinister revelation. Only 2 days before this footage was recorded, investigators had executed a search warrant at the Fravel property, where they noticed a shovel with a similar handle in the garage. What was Fravel doing with the shovel? Fravel knew and attempted to flee in the Ranger, but was intercepted at 180th Street near Highway 43. There, in the bed of the utility vehicle, was the incriminating shovel. Investigators seized the Ranger and the shovel and secured them in storage. Later that day, 2 cadaver dogs were deployed independently to investigate the vehicle. Both dogs indicated the presence of human remains in or near the shovel's location in the bed of the vehicle. In parallel to the canine search, law enforcement conducted a comprehensive search of the property owned by Fravel until April 14th, but they had found nothing. But after Madeline's body had been recovered, the authorities had everything they needed. The evidence gathered during the investigation was compelling enough for Winona County prosecutors to charge Adam Fravel with second-degree murder in the death of Madeline Kingsbury. Despite adamantly denying any involvement, Fravel found himself cornered by the overwhelming evidence gathered by the investigators. Winona County Attorney Karen Sonman emphasized that the charges brought against Fravel were based on solid evidence. But the investigation was far from over. The possibility of additional charges still loom. As the legal proceedings continue, the small town of Mabel grapples with the harsh reality of a crime that has shattered their sense of safety and trust. The haunting tale of Madeline Kingsbury's fate would forever remain etched in their memories, serving as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in even the most serene places. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the dark underworld of true crime. If this video satisfied your curiosity and gave you goosebumps, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow true crime enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more captivating tales from history's darkest corners. Until next time, stay curious.